Finally. My jobless and useless wife is dead. Now. I can finally breathe, Juma shouted. With relief in his voice. He laughed. Like a man whose burden had finally been lifted. Now we can finally be together. In peace, my love. We don't have to hide anymore, his mistress added. Unaware that his wife could hear every word. Juma and his mistress celebrated her death like a victory. They stood beside her hospital bed, dressed in black, planning her funeral with cold calculation. They never knew that in just days, the woman they believed was dead would rise, fully aware, unstoppable, and ready to fight back. While they celebrated her death, Amani lay on a narrow hospital bed, motionless, wrapped in white sheets. Cold air brushed her skin. Machines around her helped her breath. Doctors had declared her to be in a deep coma. They had declared that her chances of waking up were low. The people she called family concluded that she was dead. What they did not know is that Amani heard everything. She heard her husband's laugh break the silence of the hospital room. She heard his mistress rejoicing. She heard the scrape of a chair as they sat comfortably beside her bed like guests at a celebration. Her mind screamed. Her body betrayed her. She tried to open her mouth. She tried to lift a finger. Nothing moved. She was trapped inside herself. Juma stepped closer to the bed and looked down at her face. So this is how it ends, he said. All that cooking, all that cleaning, and all that suffering that you went through just to please me. He shook his head slowly. She worked herself to death trying to impress people who never cared about her. How pathetic, Pendo, his mistress added as she leaned against his shoulder. She was always so desperate, she said. Softly, as if being useful would make her lovable. They laughed, not loudly, not cruelly. Enough to alert the nurses, but cruel. Enough to destroy a soul. Amani remembered waking up before sunrise. Every day. She remembered sleeping after midnight. She remembered standing in the kitchen while her legs trembled from tiredness. She remembered forcing a smile while her back burned with pain. She remembered telling herself, just try harder. She remembered all this and more that she had done for years of a marriage that gave her nothing but demands, insults, and empty praise. Now she lay still listening to them speak about her life like it meant nothing. Juma's mother entered the room with satisfaction written on her face. So it finally happened, she said calmly. I warned her. A woman who does too much forgets her place. She looked at Amani's still body and clicked her tongue. All that effort and she still failed. At least now my son is free, she added. Free? That word echoed inside Amani's mind. Free from her. Free from the woman who gave everything. She is not dead. The doctor had told them earlier. She is in a coma. There is still a minimal chance she could wake up. Juma cut him off. Let's be honest. Doctor, he said.
She is already gone. Amani heard that sentence clearly and something inside her cracked. Pendo moved closer to the bed and adjusted the blanket. She doesn't need all this care anymore, she said gently. Let nature finish what exhaustion started. Then Pendo leaned toward Juma and whispered, So, when do we plan the funeral? They stood beside her, discussing her burial, while her heart was still beating, while her mind was still alive, while she listened to every word. Inside her silent body, Amani screamed, I am here. I can hear you. Why are you burying me when I am still alive? But her lips never moved. And none of them realized that the woman they were mocking was listening, remembering, and waiting. None of them realized that in a few weeks' time she would make them beg. Time stopped for Amani, but cruelty did not. Days passed, mornings came with cold light through the hospital window. Night came with shadows and whispers. Amani lay still through all of it. Her chest rose and fell. Machines breathed for her. Her body rested, but her mind never slept. She listened. She listened to footsteps outside her door. She listened to nurses change shifts. She listened to doctors speak in careful voices. And she listened to her husband slowly erase her. Juma came almost every day. He never held her hand. He never spoke her name with love. He sat near the bed and mocked her. She had no goals. She had no life. Just a useless housewife waiting for him to take care of her, he said one afternoon. Always cleaning, always trying to impress my family. Pendo sat beside him, legs crossed, calm and confident. She thought suffering would make her valuable, Pendo replied. Some women don't know when to stop. They spoke like Amani was already a memory. Amani wanted to scream. She wanted to tell them that she worked because she loved them, that she sacrificed because she believed in them. But her mouth stayed closed, her body stayed silent. At night, the pain felt worse. Not physical pain. The pain of knowing that the man she cooked for every day was now laughing beside her bed. Knowing that the woman wearing her smile was waiting for her grave. Juma's mother visited less often, but when she came, her words stayed longer. She brought this on herself, she said coldly. No woman should overwork for a family that is already complete. She stood at the foot of the bed and looked down. All that effort, and she still failed. Failed? That word burned into Amani's mind. Amani heard conversations she was never meant to hear. How long will she stay like this? Juma asked the doctor quietly. Days, the doctor replied, his voice calm but firm. And after that, Juma pressed, his tone sharp, almost eager. The family can decide, the doctor said, avoiding eye contact. Decide? Amani screamed so loud, but no voice came out. She started counting the days in her head. Each day felt like a year. Her mind replayed years of endless labor, aching muscles, Silent tears, and the relentless voice. Demanding, do more, be better. And then she remembered who she really was. Before Juma, before marriage, she remembered the meetings she attended. Quietly, the papers she signed without attention, the companies she built without noise. She remembered choosing to hide. She wanted to be loved without money. Now lying helpless in a hospital bed, she understood the truth. They demanded everything from her, yet never saw the woman behind the work. Amani continued counting the days. On the day, the tone had changed. Pendo came. Dressed brightly, confidence glowing on her face. She looks peaceful, she said. Looking at Amani's still body, almost like she knows it's over. Juma smiled. She won't wake up. They said it like a fact. Amani felt something hard form inside her chest. Not fear, anger. Nurses whispered when they thought no one listened. They are planning her funeral already, one said. It's heartless. Another replied quietly. Some people show love only when money is involved. Amani heard that. She held on to it. Days passed slowly. On the day, her thoughts grew louder. I will not die, she told herself. I will not let them bury me. Her body remained still, but her will sharpened. She remembered every cruel word, every laugh, every plan they made, as if she were already gone. Each thought made her stronger. They will regret thinking I am weak. They will see that I am alive. Every beat of her heart, every shallow breath felt like a small act of defiance. And in that silence, she began to plan. On the day, her figure moved just once. A nurse noticed and froze. Doctors rushed in. Tests were done. Hope entered the room, careful and quiet. Amani was not ready to die yet. She had to show them who she really was. On the day, her eyes opened for a few seconds. She closed them again. The doctor smiled. She is coming back, he said. That night, when the room was empty, Amani whispered to the doctor. With dry lips, do not tell them yet. The doctor hesitated. Then he nodded. Amani waited. She listened to laughter. She listened to plans. She listened to greed. And while they counted days until her burial, Amani counted heartbeats. She was not going to die like they wanted. She was preparing. On the day, Amani woke fully. The room felt too quiet. Then she heard the steady beep, beep beep of a machine. Her fingers twitched. Pain rushed through her body like fire. She was alive. Her eyes opened slowly. The ceiling above her blurred, then cleared. A doctor stood frozen at her bedside. His face carried shock, then disbelief, then relief. You're awake, he said almost to himself. Amani tried to speak. Her lips trembled, her throat burned. She swallowed hard. Yes, she whispered. Tears rolled down her eyes. She remembered everything. Every word, every laugh, every celebration. She remembered her so-called husband's cruel words. Her fingers curled into the sheets. "Please," she said after a long silence, "do not tell anyone. Not my husband. Not his family." The doctor hesitated. "You've been in a coma for weeks," he said gently. "They think that you are." "I know what they think." Amani interrupted quietly. Her voice did not shake. "That is why I'm asking." After a moment, the doctor nodded. The next 2 days passed slowly, painfully. She learned how to sit again, how to stand without collapsing, how to walk without screaming. At night, when the ward went quiet, her memories returned louder. Their laughter, their plans, her funeral. She did not cry. On the day she left the hospital quietly, just a small bag and all the strength she had left. She stood outside the house she had once served, the house that had worn her down, the house that had broken her. Noise spilled from inside. Laughter. Music, loud voices. Her heart pounded in her chest, slow and heavy, as if each beat reminded her of everything they had stolen. Chairs filled the compound. People wore black. They were actually preparing for her funeral, and they treated it like a festival. She watched from the gate every step of their arrogance, searing her. Her so-called husband moved around confidently, giving orders. "Move those chairs closer," he said. "People will come early." His voice dripped with pride. Relief. Pendo moved freely through the house, laughing and pointing like she already owned it all. Amani's fingers itched to move, her mind screaming in fury. But she stayed still, silent, waiting. She would have liked this, Pendo said, casually glancing around. Simple. Cheap, just like her life. They laughed. The sound cut through Amani's chest. She stepped inside slowly. Quietly. Her feet felt heavy, but she kept walking. Someone screamed. The compound froze. Juma turned. Confusion crossed his face, then disbelief, then pure fear. How are you alive? He stammered. You're supposed to be dead. Pendo froze, her laughter dying in her throat. Juma's mother dropped the cup in her hand. You were gone. You were buried in our minds, she spat. Amani looked around, her funeral prepared while her heart was still beating. Everything we arranged for your funeral wasted, Juma yelled, fists clenching. His mother's face twisted in rage. All of it gone to nothing. Amani stayed silent. Her silence was heavier than any scream. It made them shrink. Pendo turned sharply to Juma. Get her out of here. Amani looked at all them calmly. Then her voice finally came low and steady. I have heard all of you. You thought I was weak and gone, but I've seen everything. And nothing will ever be the same. The room went silent. Their confidence disappeared. Fear spread across their faces. The same faces that had been full of pride just moments ago. Amani reached into her bag slowly. Her movements were calm, deliberate. She made a call. Just one call. Proceed with the plan, she said confidently, then waited. Within minutes, Juma's phone rang. He answered casually at first. Then his smile disappeared. What do you mean terminated? He shouted. And this must be a mistake. Another call, then another. Emails flooded his screen. Access revoked. Contract canceled, position terminated. His mother grabbed his arm. What is happening? She demanded. Juma's hands shook. I've been fired. The words fell heavy. The compound erupted. Pendo froze. Her eyes narrowed. Fired? She repeated. How? Juma turned slowly toward Amani. His voice dropped to a whisper. What have you done? How did you do that? I don't understand. Amani lifted her head, her back straightened. You messed with the wrong woman. Her back straightened. Her voice did not shake. You thought I was weak. You thought I was nothing, she said slowly. That was your biggest mistake. I am a billionaire. I own major companies across Kenya, banks, factories. Businesses that decide who eats and who starves. She took one step forward. I chose silence. I chose a simple life. I wanted to know if I would be loved when I had nothing. Her eyes locked on Juma. What I found was cruelty. She let the words sink in. I heard you celebrate my death. I heard you plan my burial. I heard you laugh while I lay on a hospital bed, unable to move. Her voice hardened. So I decided to answer you properly. She lifted her phone slightly. Juma, you are finished. No company under me will ever hire you. No partner will touch your name. No bank will trust you. She paused. You will wake up every day knowing that the woman you buried alive is the one who closed every door you will ever knock on. Juma shook his head wildly. No. No. Amani did not raise her voice. I will make sure you regret every insult, every laugh, every second you thought I was disposable. Silence crashed over them. Juma's knees gave way. His mother screamed, You're lying. This is impossible. Amani raised her phone. Documents glowed on the screen. Ownership papers. Signatures, proof that could not be denied. They started begging. Juma walked towards her. I didn't know. He sobbed. Please forgive me. His mother followed, crying loudly. We were wrong, she pleaded. We didn't mean it. Pendo stepped back slowly. Her eyes moved from Amani to Juma. So you have nothing now. Juma said nothing. Pendo laughed bitterly. So you are broke? She picked up her bag. I stayed because of your money, she admitted, her voice cracking, almost screaming. But you have nothing now. Nothing. I don't stay for broke men. And she walked away. As Pendo's footsteps echoed away, Juma froze. His chest tightened. His hands shook. Betrayal burned through him like fire. All this time, he had believed he controlled everything. And now, everything had collapsed. He looked around the room at the chaos, at Amani's calm, untouchable gaze, and felt the crushing weight of reality. He had lost it all. Amani stood above it, all untouched by the chaos around her. She did not shout. She did not cry. Her calm was worse than anger. You buried me while I was still breathing, she said, her voice low but steady, each word cutting deeper than a scream ever could. You planned my funeral, she continued. You laughed while my body lay in a hospital bed, unable to move, unable to speak. Her eyes moved slowly from face to face. She made sure each of them felt seen. You celebrated my death, she said again. Softer this time. And that softness carried more weight than fury. Juma's knees buckled. For the first time, fear truly found him. Amani turned toward the gate. I am done, she said, not as a threat, not as a promise, as a final decision. She walked away. And this time, no one followed. No one mocked. No one laughed. Only the sound of everything they thought they had collapsing behind her because the woman they tried to bury did not come back for revenge. She came back for the truth. Months later, life had changed completely. Juma had lost everything. His job, his reputation, his friends. No company would touch him. Every door he knocked on closed in his face. Amani, however, had rebuilt quietly. Her companies thrived. She traveled freely, knowing that the people who once mocked her had no power over her anymore. Her life once hidden now moved forward on her terms. The moral of this story is people reveal their true character when they believe you are powerless. And when they celebrate your fall, they prepare the stage for their own. Thank you so much for watching this story until the end. If it moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help these stories reach more people. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from, and what part of Amani's story stayed with you the most. More powerful stories are coming. Don't miss them.